What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 30 of the Sports Hour Plessy Miller and Watson Championship Dreams and Nightmares. The Celtics are up 3-0. In the NHL, they're looking for a sweep. It's getting a little crazy. And NFL is finally on a little bit of a break. And now we're just gearing up to talk Olympics. We're gearing up to talk the rest of the NBA Finals. As always, we have a lot of Caitlin Clark talk because that's all the media seems to be able to talk about recently. Follow us on Twitter. I'm M_India_Miller. Kylan is Kylan W. Watson on X. Give us a follow. I say we dive right into it. Because I have to go take my dog to the vet. I'm always doing something. I never can just have like a peaceful day. It's always on the go.
She's always running, man.
Always running.
All right. How are you? How was the Bachelorette?
I'm good. It was so fun. It was amazing. It was just really fun to like see all my friends meet all my other friends that didn't know each other. It was great. It was just like a really fun, nice weekend. Went to the beach, went to some bars. We went out on a boat. We did hibachi at the house. It was just really fun. We had a really good time. And then I went into one final week of work, and I am now off until the Olympics, which is awesome. We do hiatus every year for football. It gives everybody some break. So I have a big barbecue tonight at my boss's house, which I'm so excited about. It's always fun to let loose and see. Hey, RC, what's up?
What's up, RC?
To see some friends in a not work setting. So that's always really fun. Get to see my coworkers, our on-air talent will all be there. So it's exciting and fun, and I'm excited for that. How about you? How was your weekend?
It was pretty good, pretty chill. Didn't really do, this early June, as I told you off air, is very, 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 very early.
Birthday heavy for you, right?
Yeah. My dad's birthday was on Friday the 7th. My brother's was on Sunday. Obviously, Father's Day. Let's not forget that. Shout out to all the fathers represented here, Mr. Watson, Mr. Miller. Shout out to both of them. Yep. All of you fathers out there, happy Father's Day. But yeah, weekend was pretty chill. Outside of that, a lot of stuff this week. We're also planning like a big Father's Day barbecue. Not at my house, but at my church doing big things. So if you find yourself in the Philadelphia area from 10:30 to like 2:00, come on down 4701 Lancaster Avenue in West Philadelphia and get a barbecue. Come 10:30 to 2:00, come chill, come get some free food, some games, some cornhole. Gonna have some video games too, some PlayStation, some Xboxes. Throw down on that 2K and Madden. Come pwn some young bulls and old heads. Let's do it. Come see each other. Come, for the old, for the more seasoned folks, Morgan, barbecue is not complete without the checkers and all the board games and the chess and all that stuff. That's like, I don't know about you. I prefer checkers, but chess was a little bit too meta for me. but
we're a big chess fan in this household.
Okay. All right, yeah. So chess, all that, it's not a party till the spades and all that comes out. So check that out. Barbecues and everything. So we got that in common. Bless you. But bless you again. Moving right along, like she said, Trevor Lawrence has thrown it all the way off. Trevor Lawrence gets paid 5 years, $275 million contract extension, $200 million guaranteed. Oh man. What's your reaction to this, Morgan?
I feel like this is how I've been with all of these players. I'm like, good for him. Trevor's a nice guy. I think he's a good player. I don't know. That's a lot of money. But at this point, like, I'm not really sure what their alternative was. The town loves him. Jacksonville obviously loves him. He's super ingrained into the community there. Him and his wife do a lot of charity work and things like that. And I think it's great. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good role model for kids, and he's good at his sport. I feel like he's been getting better every single year, which is always just the goal when it comes to quarterbacks. And so I hope that he continues to go in that direction and excel upwards. And maybe this is the push that he needs. I hope that this doesn't make him complacent. I don't think it will. He doesn't like to lose. He's not used to losing. He didn't really start losing till he got to the NFL. So I'm hoping that this will kind of kick him into overdrive.
I see. It's never too late. Trevor Lawrence rolling the LD. I mean, not completely. All right, RC. I'll see about this chess. My uncle wants me to become a chess person. I'm not. It's too long of a game for me, and all the like little like Game of Thrones stuff y'all do to like throw each other off. I don't mean to compare it to that series because for some of y'all that's good, for some of y'all that's bad. But that's just me. But I may get into it. You never know. Between you and Morgan, maybe I'll start picking up chess.
It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, for me, like I'm happy for him. Like I think everybody should get paid, especially in the NFL, where you only have like a lot of us say, as Morgan knows, whether you're in media or not, a lot of us call the NFL, what does the NFL stand for? Not for long. So get your money. Like it's a very finite amount of time, whether you're a quarterback or not. We don't know if Trevor Lawrence will end up being like Tom Brady and play till he's 40. Tom Brady is an anomaly. So, does he deserve to be the highest paid quarterback right now? Probably not. But, that's you are what the market says you are. And
all of these it's just the next person to get paid is the highest. It doesn't have any ranking of how good you are. It's just the next person is going to get paid more. The next person is going to get paid more. And that's just how the cycle has been.
Right. And he like you said, he's gotten better. He's under Doug Peterson, former Eagles coach. And, I think he'll continue to improve. But, to go to the next question, there might be a little bit disagreement here because I don't think so. I think that he could be a main cog. To me, he's not he's not a foundational difference maker to me yet, and I know that,
Fair.
Some people would say he was on an all-star team with that Clemson team with all them number one picks that they had, top picks and running backs and everything. And he might be a victim of his own success because he definitely dominated, the ACC and college football at that time. Obviously, during that time, Clemson was really running through it. They had he who shall not be named, Deshaun Watson. They had him. They had Uliangale, who's now I think at Oregon State. That was like they were just running. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence the last championship winning QB they had. Then then Dabo ran through Uliangale like his name was Tom Thibodeau. But I am of the mindset that I think that Trevor Lawrence. I don't want to be disrespectful. He's a star. But to me, I think he needs a lot more around him and more help. And I think that just having him with Calvin Ridley and some running backs, it does not a Super Bowl winning team make. And obviously, this is the one thing about Jacksonville, right? They never have had the thing going at the same time with a superstar, a Super Bowl winning offense or a Super Bowl winning defense has always been one or the other, and the other one's always carrying the other. So I think that they expect Trevor Lawrence to do a lot more than his talent obviously says he can. Obviously, he can work on it. Like Jalen Hurts went from being a role player / star to a superstar. So he can obviously work on it. And obviously, he hasn't played in September yet. He could have put up superstar numbers, and I could be eating my words. It is only June 14th, 11:18 a.m. East Coast time. So I could totally eat my words, and you Jacksonville fans can run it back and say I was wrong. But I just don't think at this moment, to me, his talent says I can lead you to a Super Bowl, especially with, I say this about Josh Allen too. I don't think his talent can lead to a Super Bowl. And I know Morgan disagrees, but
I disagree with
right so far.
I can get on board with the Trevor Lawrence when I can't get on board with Josh Allen. Josh is too good.
How many Super Bowls has Josh Allen been to?
Josh Allen doesn't have a team around him.
I look. That's what I'm saying. He's not, and that's what I mean. I just explained. Trevor Lawrence has talent. Josh Allen is a superstar talent. He's dating an actress, but I just don't think he has that talent that gets you to a championship. And I've been proven right. And some of this is he's kind of like Joel Embiid, right? A victim of his own success. Doesn't have a team around him, but still, that's what they expect him to be. a god, and that's not what Josh Allen is, and that's not what Trevor Lawrence is to me. But again, he can prove me wrong. The GMs of both teams can construct a roster around them, and I could be eating my words come this time February, and Morgan will be happy to run this tape again to say, "Look at what you said."
Alrighty, moving right along. I mean, I think that he can. I think it's also all about everybody that's surrounding him, and I don't think right now they have a good enough team to win a Super Bowl, but that doesn't mean that it's not. I don't think that's Trevor Lawrence's fault.
This is an app comparison to me. RC with the app comparison. Two different sports, but an app comparison, right? Like, we were just talking about how Jaylen Brown makes $300 million, and obviously we all know he's not the best player on the team, but he's paid like it, right? And like, and obviously when he combines with Jason Tatum, Jrue Holiday, they're on the cusp of winning a championship, and Boston's on the cusp of dancing. And cocky Celtics fans all around, which we all hate, but they're around right now. So, I think it's a real good comparison. That's a real good comparison, RC.
Yeah.
So, Jerry West. Unfortunately, for those of you that don't know, you may be listening to the show for the first time. You might not know the logo died this week, a couple of days ago. West Virginia great. Jerry West, architect, a championship winning point guard with the Lakers, the logo. Obviously, one of the first people outside of Bill Russell to really make this former player to executive coach pipeline. So I'll let you. I'll let you start here.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, and it's always sad when a legend like this passes away. Every person, almost probably in the world, knows who he is, whether they think they do or they don't, because everybody in the world recognizes the NBA logo. And it's a sad day. He lived a good life. He was older when he passed. And again, it's sad. And it was nice to see all the stories and all the things.
86 years old.
Huh?
86 years old.
86. Yeah, that's a great life. And it was nice to see all the stories and stuff coming out from former players and people he played against and his teammates, and it was cool. So, again, these things are always really, really sad, but they always kind of tend to bring out the best. I know that there was some lawsuits and stuff going on towards the end, but I don't know if this means that the logo will never be changed now, or if it means the logo is more adept to be changed. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk of changing the logo to Michael Jordan, but that's just because obviously it's Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan can't have everything, and I say that as Morgan knows, as the biggest Jordan head on this podcast. I would love to make Michael Jordan the logo, but I think at this point, Jerry West needs to stay the logo, especially now that he has unfortunately passed away. Obviously, this is the danger of, people doing stuff based on books and stuff. Obviously, him and Scottie Pippen, from The Last Dance. And for those that don't know, what Morgan is alluding to is that Jerry West and a lot of other of his teammates were suing HBO's show Winning Time based on their depictions because they thought it wasn't true. Scottie Pippen had the same gripe about the way he was depicted in Michael Jordan's Last Dance. So
I'm going to let you take this for a second. I'm going to bring my dog upstairs.
Okay. So Jerry West was upset about that, but it doesn't take away from his legacy. He was the architect outside of Bill Russell of this former coach, executive pipeline, and he really is, one of the people. Yeah, will they retire Jerry West's number league-wide like they did Bill Russell? I think they might now that he's dead. Unfortunately, some things you have to die to make happen. I know his numbers retired with the Lakers, but I think obviously with the NBA, a lot of that is team dependent. They did it because for Bill Russell league wide, but not many players. A lot of in the NBA is kind of team dependent. RC, a team will retire like the Sixers, for example. No one can wear number 3 because of Allen Iverson. No one can wear Dr. J's number. A lot of it is team dependent, not necessarily league dependent. But I guess maybe sometimes your number gets retired unofficially. So maybe that's what they'll do. But the NBA is not the NFL. They don't really like to tell teams what to do. But yeah, I think that it'll be unofficially retired. to answer your question. Yes, he did. He brought the Lakers Kobe Bryant. He identified him. That's one of his legacy defining moments, bringing Kobe Bryant to the Lakers and preventing him from going to the Clippers. I mean, look, man, like Jerry West single-handedly kept that rivalry alive. Like, obviously won a championship as a Laker, went and like was the executive behind the GM behind, Lob City and all the stuff that was happening with the Clippers. Not really right now, obviously, but he's been like the shadow person. He was around for the Warriors. He helped construct that team as well. Like a lot of those dynasties in California, except for the Clippers, owe themselves to Jerry West. So yeah, he was a great guy, great basketball mind. Really, really, really unfortunate loss. But 86 years old, like Morgan said, good life. We send our prayers and condolences to his family, friends, and teammates, and hope that they get the help that they need during this time of grief.
Yep.
So Morgan was right. It's one of the rare times where I will say that she knew a coach better than I did. Y'all know I'm on the all coaches are liars train, but this is one of them times where I have to admit I was wrong. I thought he would choose money and sunshine over beaches and over the middle of nowhere and living in Storrs, Connecticut, and the most famous person outside of him being the Husky. What's his name? Jonathan the Husky. And so, it's unfortunate. I guess, happy. My opinion with this is happy wife, happy life. So that's what I think happened here. And, more money, more problems. But I'll let Morgan go since she's more of a UConn fan than I am. So go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, the state is ecstatic that he's staying. I mean, you heard him. So he talked yesterday and they kind of asked him what his process was. And I mean, they said as soon as the Lakers sent the offer, Andrea, his wife, burst into tears. So that's like the first sign. And then, LeBron, I guess, was texting him. I don't know if that did good or bad. And then he called Alex Caravan. And Caravan was like, I think you need to come back. And I just think that he was like, it's not the right choice for me right now, which is exactly what I said. He wants to coach. He wants to be the center of attention. He wants to recruit. He loves all that kind of stuff. And the money's great, but at a certain point for someone like that, money doesn't really matter anymore. And I know that you disagree with me on that, but also your money gets you a lot farther in Storrs, Connecticut than it does in LA. So,
Hey, look, man, I agree with you. I until I started talking to you, I didn't know he was that deep in the Northeast, that his wife is a South Jersey girl. So I will, like you said, happily deflect. And, I will literally I'm happy to be wrong on this because I know how much you think Dan Hurley is a god. And so I'm happy that he confirmed your suspicions right, because I was ready to be like, I told you all coaches are liars. That's all they do. I was ready to say that.
I know. He's different. He's something special, and we have something special brewing in Storrs. And I mean, how good of a recruiting tactic is that? I turned down the LA Lakers to coach you. So good. All of these, you see all these top recruits that are going to be in next year's class are already commenting on it. They're like, I have a meeting at UConn next week, and I'm even more excited about it because if Hurley's going to miss out on the chance to coach the Lakers, something big has to be happening in Storrs. It's awesome. It's so cool. It is just elated for the players, for the state of Connecticut. All these places are offering him free wings, free this for life, and fans are sending Andrea flowers to their house saying, thank you for our queen. Thank you for keeping us here.
Yeah, like I said, he might be the only person in the Northeast that would turn down LA summers, winters, and falls to stay in, of all places, Storrs, Connecticut. And again, UConn fans, you know that there's nothing there but y'all. So I don't think
beaches. Our summers are so nice here, though. Summers are so nice in Connecticut. Winter's not so much, but you're coaching and you're inside all the time time for during winters anyway, because it's football.
He's probably not there. Let's be real. He's probably not there for the summer. He's probably not.
No, he is. He's recruiting. He's like watching summer leagues. Like he literally the day after he was already in Connecticut watching a summer league game with some high schoolers. I'm like, grind never stops. Hurley's our king. All hail Hurley. We love him.
Hey, look, man.
3P.
All I can say is, other than the 3P, he silenced me. This is probably the one coach that I can honestly say means what he says, and Morgan knows that's a hard thing for me to admit, because I think all coaches are tell you one thing and they do the other thing. And
I told you he was different. I told you he was different.
So I will. Dan Hurley and Mrs. Hurley, if you ever feel like you want to come on, Morgan's a big UConn fan, and I will readily be there to admit that I was wrong. Plus, I love talking to fellow Philadelphia fans. So come on down, and we can talk about this, get some interviews. I'll just throw it out there. I don't know if he watches this or not, but hey, maybe we throw it out there. Somebody at UConn will make it happen. So good for her, good for them for being the one family that would pick the Northeast over the West Coast. So good for y'all. So who's the front runner for the Lakers job now? Honestly, I think
has to be JJ Redick, right?
I think it's JJ Redick or Borrega. I honestly think that the Lakers want to go for a stretch and something that'll get people talking. It'll probably be JJ Redick. Like I said last week, he doesn't strike me as somebody that can be a coach. Like, he's a great, like I said, basketball mind, basketball genius. Went to Duke, did all that. Very smart guy. Not saying that he's not cut for the job. I just, there's just some people that you look at, whether they're players or not, and you just know, like, I just don't think, I don't think he's Daniel Jeremiah. I don't think he's like one of those minds that you can just pluck off like a broadcast and like put him there and think he'll succeed as a coach. And he can grow into it. Jason Kidd did too, but like, I don't know if the Lakers, I think Lakers might be a little bit too high profile of a job for JJ, but he does like LA, and it's either that or the Nets. I'm really surprised that he's not like a front runner for the Nets job, because he does live in Brooklyn. So
I feel like no one has really talked about the Nets job as much as the Lakers job. And I feel like that's just because the Hurley thing came up so big.
Yeah. RC said nobody want that job. But JJ. Hey man, JJ Borrega might want it. Tell LeBron to pack his bags and job will be more valuable, period. Hey, you never know, man. I mean, look, man. Like I said, LeBron and AD are like the only reason you probably would take that job, unless you got a guarantee like 5 years that they won't fire you. But it's the Lakers. They're always going to be trying. It's kind of like the Celtics, right? When the Celtics were down, it's still the Celtics. So like they will always try. So yeah. I mean, you've got to have a guarantee about it. But yeah, I think JJ Redick or Borrega. If you want to go for the more experienced pick, they'll probably go with Borrega. But they want to go with a splash name everybody gonna talk about, probably JJ Redick, and we'll spend the next few weeks with the discourse of, does he deserve the job? Is he a Steve Nash or a Jason Kidd? Like, we'll be doing all of that. So knowing the Lakers, that's probably what they'll do, but we'll see. So the other thing that was been big, unfortunately, all weekend and all week, and Morgan and I are both rolling our eyes because we have to talk about this, just because we're not a everyday show like a First Take. We're more a once a week type of show, but we have to talk about this. Team USA women's basketball roster was announced. Morgan, I'll let you start your reaction to this, because I want to.
So
I want to pull it up for everybody to see. So go ahead.
I want to go through this quickly, and here's the reason why: is because I feel so bad for all of the girls on this team who it's their first Olympics. They're so proud. They're so excited, and all of it is getting overshadowed by the Caitlin Clark of it all. It's an amazing team. It's the best players in the WNBA. They're going to roll the Olympics. They are so good, and it's going to be so fun to watch them play. I'm so happy for these new girls. Girls that have put a lot into Team USA over the years, that have earned it, that were at training camp. Regardless of if you were in the NCAA finals or not, they were at the training camp. They were doing all that they had to do. There are no rookies on the team, because rookies very rarely make the team, especially when they're not one of the top 12 or 15 players in the league right now. This is the top 12 people in the league, and it's really exciting, and I'm happy for them.
Amen. Say it again, sister. Say it again for the people in the back.
It's just, and again, why are we talking about this? Because if people weren't complaining about Caitlin Clark, it wouldn't even be a big story. I mean, these are the best players. Like, the only person maybe you could say I would be maybe like Diana Taurasi, but she's been on the team before. She brings leadership. She brings and you can't not put Diana Taurasi on the team. That would be insane.
Yeah, this is probably her last Olympics. I mean, let's
probably
run
her
through
last year playing.
Yeah, Nafisa Collier, Kalia Cooper, shout out North Philly, Chelsea Gray, Brittany Griner, Sabrina Ionescu, Jewel Lloyd. Let me not butcher Jewel's name. That's the gold mamba right there. Kelsey Plum, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, Alyssa Thomas, Aja Wilson.
Scroll down.
Then Jackie Young. Let me not forget that. And we'll get there about Jackie Young and what they did, but this is the thing, right? Oh, so let me not step on you. Are you finished?
No, I mean, but look at who would you take off of this team and put on Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, I mean her fans. Now let me be clear here. Caitlin Clark said that it's okay that she didn't make the team. She basically said she needs a break, and I agree. But some people are arguing Chelsea Gray because she injured her leg, as we all saw last year, and hasn't played yet. But the Olympics is a month and a half from now, so literally, it's on my birthday. Shout out to me. But you have time for that. But yeah, I'm gonna let you finish, and then I'll go in.
No, I'm good. I'm done. I've said all I need to say.
All right, so look, like you said, I mean, just look at the guards, right? You got Sabrina Ionescu, or as I like to call her, the original person that everybody was capping for before Caitlin Clark. You've got, Jewel Lloyd, another guard. You've got Jackie Young. You've got Chelsea Gray. She's more of a forward than a guard, but I think her natural position is guard. Got Diana Taurasi. You've got that is four very, very good guards right there. They're big, they're athletic. They're
way stronger than Caitlin Clark.
They're swoller than Caitlin Clark, like you just said. And that's the thing, right? I'm so sick of these people talking about, it's about marketability. And I just want to know, because I've seen some of y'all use this Christian Laettner example, and any of y'all who've been following me on Twitter, if you don't follow me, I've been on here being active about this. I was like a child during this time, but Christian Laettner, because people are she should get the Christian Laettner spot. I'm all like, Christian Laettner was only given that spot because that was the first year in that 92-93 Dream Team. That was the first year that they allowed NBA professionals to play. Because before that, it was just college kids going to the Olympics. And so for all of y'all that don't know, right, before 1992, it was college kids going to the Olympics. And that's why in basketball, they didn't start dominating until they started letting NBA and WNBA talent go to the Olympics, because it was a bunch of college kids and high school kids playing each other, and that's more of an equal footing for the rest of the world, right? And so Christian Laettner only had that spot because there was one spot on the men's side guaranteed for a college player. You don't see that anymore on either side because they got rid of that because it's not the 90s anymore. She doesn't just
it's people do these arguments and they're not even relevant. It's not even it's not for 4 years ago. No.
Yeah, and I just want to say, shout out to RC. Caitlin love her, but she doesn't need to be on the Olympics team, period. She needs to be getting in a gym room, sharpening her game mentally, resting, and recuperating her mind. That's it. No Olympics. Exactly. And I totally agree. I said this last week.
She also, we forget, she went right from college season right into WNBA season. She needs, regardless, you shouldn't put at least female basketball players on college kids on the team. And I mean, God bless, Cameron Brink is doing it for the 3-on-3.
Haley Van Lith, there are she could have done 3-on-3.
But again, you have to remember, she was invited to go to training camp for Team USA, and she turned it down because her team was in the Final Four. No shade to her for turning it down. I totally understand that, but that was a choice that she made. Right. Everybody else that was on that list was at that training camp.
that's the thing. That's the important point here. Like, for those of you that are like, she should make the team just because like she didn't meet the basic requirement, which was to go to the mini camp. And now this might need to change. Maybe the Team USA should change it so that when they're doing mini camps, it's not in the middle of the college season, especially if you want Paige Beckers and the rest of them to come to the camp. Now that's something that they might need to change. But again, it might flow into the WNBA season. It might be a whole thing. So, like, but they definitely probably need to change that. I'll agree here. But, like, to me, like, I just think that I'm just happy that I'm not happy. I'm happy that she's not on the team just for this. Like RC said, like you said, she needs to rest, needs to get in the gym. But the other thing is, like, can you imagine what the discourse is going to be? Because I think y'all forget that, like, they can basically use and abuse you in the Olympics. Like, they can tip the ball when it's on its way in. They can beat you up. It's not like the NBA and the WNBA where they call everything a foul. Like, you really got to earn a foul there. So I can just imagine, like, y'all call it simple hip checks and pushes, harassment and reverse discrimination on Caitlin Clark. I am so happy that I do not have to see NBC or anybody else being tagged, being like, why are y'all letting them harass Caitlin Clark like that? That's the marketability. She brings $60 billion. First and foremost, right? Let's just run this Olympic team down. They're going for their 8th straight Olympic gold medal. They are the winningest team that we have over the U.S. women's soccer team that all y'all like, over Simone Biles, over Gabby Douglas, over the gymnastics team that's been dominating. They literally are the best team that the U.S. has going to the Olympics. 70-4. Do you know how rare that is to play every 4 years and only lose 4 times? like, do y'all understand what y'all have here? And we got people saying the marketability. Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith. I'll get to you at he's not him, they are them. But like, y'all, the marketability argument, this is a team that's 70-4. It's the Olympics. It sells itself. like, what are you talking about marketability? Like, and who are you going to take off? Like, we'll get to the next question. Like, is Caitlin Clark the biggest star on the roster? No, it's Erica Ogunbowale, right? Now, again, if you notice on this list, there's no Nneka Ogwumike again, right? You notice that, right? There's no Nneka Ogwumike. There's no Aaliyah Boston. Like, there are a bunch of players. There's no Angel Reese. Like, Cameron Brink is like the only rookie going this year because 3-on-3. Like, and that's a special type of thing too. Like, I just need y'all to understand that, like, Erica Ogunbowale has more of an argument, and she's dropping 26 points per game over Caitlin Clark. Like, Caitlin Clark is only averaging about 16, 17 points a game. There's a woman that scores 26 points a game for the Dallas Wings that isn't on this roster, and that's just because it's a very guard-heavy thing. Now, maybe when Diana Taurasi isn't on this roster, maybe then Erica and Caitlin Clark can get on. But like I said, Caitlin is 22. Her, Sabrina, and Paige are probably your guards of the future for the Olympics, probably right there with Erica Ogunbowale. Like, they're going to make the 2028 team. It's just not going to happen in 2024. Like, y'all just need to get over it. Maybe if Chelsea Gray doesn't play, then they'll go with somebody else, but it won't be Caitlin Clark. Don't make the marketability argument for the Olympics. Like, just don't do it. Don't do it. She needs to rest. Let her do it. Erica Ogunbowale is a bigger snub. Aaliyah Boston, they could probably use her in the center position. Like, there's so many more deserving people before I even get to Caitlin Clark. So
yeah, I agree.
And so, like, yeah, like, I just need y'all to calm down. You got anything else to add to that?
No.
All right. So is this level of outrage going to happen every time Caitlin doesn't make a roster? Like, I can imagine it might happen for the All-Star game because that's coming up. Like, is this going to happen every time, Morgan?
God, I hope not. But again, she needs to say something. This is that same conversation that we've been having, is that if she doesn't say anything, then yeah, I do think it's going to keep happening. I think if she says something, then hopefully it can calm down a little bit. But I think if she doesn't say anything, then yes, this is going to keep happening.
Yeah, I think it's going to keep happening because, and to her credit, it came out today, breaking news, for those of you that don't know. She came out and said it's disappointing that people are using her name to spread division. She wants people to be respectful. So I will give her that. She finally said something about that. I think it could have been a little stronger, and I'll get to that later. But,
yeah, I mean, come on though. You have people like Haley Van Lith and people like Paige Beckers when they are asked questions like that, and you see their answer, and they're in college and not being media trained like Caitlin Clark is being media trained, and their answers are a lot more eloquent and pointed when it comes to that kind of stuff. So yeah. I don't really. She also said something, and then everybody crapped on her because they said she didn't say enough, and then like amended her statement almost. So
okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know for he's not him, she's not her. But yeah, like I think that this is going to continue to happen just because like Caitlin Clark is a name because people like we're using it now, like obviously, but we've been covering it. We've been consistent in covering it. We're not just covering it just because of Caitlin Clark, but like I just think that like she just needs to be like, RC wasn't here. She's not going to be Michael Jordan, Cheryl Super no time soon. If anything, she's struggling in year one, like a young Kobe Bryant. Yeah, and I think that she's going to be, I said this, Morgan wasn't here for this, but I said this before, she has the potential to be a Mount Rushmore WNBA talent, right? Yeah. But I just don't, what I don't want her to do is go the Jordan route, which is basically like Republicans buy sneakers too. Like, I don't want her to like.
RC, you're exactly right. Sorry, that's what we've been saying for the last couple weeks. That her fans are the ones that are making her look bad, and that's why we keep saying she just needs to be like, guys,
chill.
Yeah, chill.
Yeah, like, and so like that's why I say I will give her credit for that strong statement after Morgan said being disappointing. She's not the only basketball person that's been disappointing this week with bad quotes. So, like, I'm happy that she amended that statement. But, yeah, this is probably going to happen every time people think in a majority black league that black people are doing something that Caitlin Clark isn't getting. So we'll see for the All-Star game. But, yeah, y'all should expect this more. You've got a lot of people using her name to try and sow division, especially during an election year. Like I said last week, they see her as the great white hope. Larry Bird got this treatment as well. He hated it because people were going to use his name and stuff to like sow division. And so like, I just want her to really realize that. I'm glad she's starting to. I just want them, like, I think a lot of this is somebody has a PR firm, they train her on what to say. And I don't think they just let her be her. And I understand that because she's only 22 and you don't know what might come out of her mouth. Like, but I just think that at some point everybody sees it. Dejanay Carrington was getting it for what she did a couple of days ago. Like, and she was like, I graduated from Stanford early. Y'all need to stop using my name and Caitlin's to try to sow racist division. Get out my comment section. Like, everybody who does something to Caitlin Clark gets abused. Like, any perceived slight, Yep. So, like, eventually she's got to tell people using her name that are extreme to chill. Like, I understand she doesn't want to isolate people, but like eventually you got to do something, man. So, but yes, this is probably to answer the question, this is probably going to happen every time she doesn't make a team. But she will probably, let me just say, she will probably make the All-Star team just because that's a fan vote and we know her fans are fervent. So I expect her to be, even though it should be A'ja Wilson, I expect her, I will not be surprised if come the end of this month, they're saying the number one vote getter, Caitlin Clark, because a lot of people on Fox News and others will be like, vote for Caitlin Clark. So I fully expect her to be the number one in the thing. But yeah, Las Vegas Aces in the slump. Last week I talked about how I would rather talk about anything else than Caitlin Clark's fans, and here we are. So yesterday, hold on, let me stop sharing. So yesterday, the Las Vegas Aces, they were slumping for a little bit. They were 1-4 their last couple of games. A lot of tiredness and a lot of weaknesses on the team were starting to show up with the back-to-back defending champions. And they finally won last night. Jackie Young and A'ja Wilson, just some history here, were the first two teammates to both score 30-plus points together in one game in WNBA history. So shout out to both of them. And the Aces won. And, that's great for the defending champs. I think that they need some bench help. So I think they need to address that during the trade deadline. Again, I like to say I'm multifaceted. You'll get as much basketball talk in the NBA and the WNBA. Morgan knows I am a basketball head, so I will talk like I'm a GM of a WNBA team if y'all let me. So yeah, I think that they need some help. Chelsea Gray coming back will help this, but they need a sixth woman. I think my girl Daisha Fair would have been this, but they didn't really give her a chance. And this is the whole thing, as Morgan pointed out a couple of weeks ago. There's only like 12 teams. These rookies really don't have a chance to grow. Obviously, you see Kate Martin. She was ready, willing, and able. They've thrown her into the starting lineup, but the thing that's going to get the Aces is they don't have a bench, and they need to get a bench. And I think Chelsea Gray coming back, that's a 14 to 15, 16-point scorer a night. That'll help, but they need some more bench help. But I'm happy they won. Go ahead.
No, I think I agree with everything you said.
All right. So the best team in the W. So for those of you that don't know, they've been doing the Commissioner's Cup. Last night, the Seattle Storm won on the west side. West side? Sorry, I had to do it. And they'll do the East. They'll do the East regionals. But Morgan, who's your best team in the W right now? Should I go first? You want more time?
Yeah, let me think.
Okay, so for me, on the East side, I said last time, and it was determined last weekend when they played each other. The Liberty are the best team on the East Coast, right? They beat the Connecticut Sun. Unfortunately for Morgan in her state, they ended their undefeated streak. They put the defensive Jonquel Jones and them put the defensive clamps on Alyssa Thomas, and it fell apart because I don't know what it is about these New England teams and being 2-3 happy, but yeah, that's what it is. They don't really have that. So right now, to me, it's the Liberty. The Aces have been slumping, so I can't say it's the Aces anymore. So to me, it's the Liberty. Jonquel Jones, Sabrina Ionescu, and Brianna Stewart can continue to do what they've been doing, and Vandersloot and all of them continue to do their jobs. I will not be surprised to see a Liberty, Connecticut Sun, ECF. And I won't be surprised if the Liberty are bringing the first team in forever to bring a title to New York. No matter how much I hate it, this might be the one New York team I can't hate. So I grew up on Liberty basketball. So I think it's the Liberty, and I think it's the Seattle Storm, like Skylar Diggins. They just won the West Coast Commissioner's Cup. They'll play whoever wins on the East side. I think the Seattle Storm are ready, and I a sneaky team too, the Minnesota Lynx. Y'all gotta believe me when I talk about these teams from Minnesota. The Minnesota Lynx, sneaky team. Get in on the cutting room floor now. Morgan, I hope I gave you enough time.
Yeah, so I was looking up what the records was because I knew the Mystics were in last, but I didn't know by how much. So here's the thing. I'm actually more excited about the Mystics being last because I truly believe that Paige is going to be the #1 pick next year.
1-13.
I am like, Mystics, come on, girlfriends, keep losing. You've won one game. Like, keep it up. You're doing so well.
She's rooting for this like she was for the Giants to lose at this point.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, babes, we got this. And I think the Sun are always really good and they're fun to watch and they're a good team. But I agree with you. The Liberty also just has like the star power, I guess. Like so many people know like so many of their team right now. But I wish that the Sun and the Liberty could like play for the championship, but that obviously doesn't work like that. But yeah, I'm way more concerned about the Mystics staying in last place than I am about who, because then guess who gets to play together? Do you know who I'm saying?
Who? Oh.
Who did the Mystics draft this year?
Oh, okay.
Do you have any idea what I'm saying?
It's Alyssa, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, Alyssa and Paige get to play together. I would think you would want the Storm for Nika Mule and
I know. Nika and them they're so close.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, that's it. And RC wants to know why you're not talking more about Nafisa. How can you forget Nafisa in Minnesota? That's what he said. You see this comment below?
I know. I did see that.
That's Morgan's UConn Hooper. Okay. You want to say anything? I know it's kind of boring, but just to, get it started. You want to talk hockey? Just for a
Sure.
little, just to give the people what they want.
Yeah, so it's been, like I said, kind of a boring, I guess, cup. Not boring, you could say, but Florida leads 3-0 against the Oilers. It does not look like Canada is going to get a cup this year. Looks like it's going to go back to Florida. I feel like the last 5 years, Florida's seen 3 of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're 3 up. The next game is tomorrow at 8. The only interesting thing, not the only, but one of the biggest interesting things in what's going on with the NHL right now is that this is the farthest that teams have ever had to do they really? The expansion teams get the first 2 draft picks?
I don't know. I don't think that's been determined yet, but probably at least the top 5, top 3 pick. I think it's still in basketball. I think it's still the one with the worst record. I have to look up with the WNBA, but I still think it works like the NBA.
You can't put Paige on an expansion team. You can't put her on an expansion team. You put her in. No, just because she has to come to DC.
You don't want to see her in Golden State or Toronto.
Oh.
No, she wants her in DC, y'all. Morgan's biased. She's from there, so she wants them to have basketball again. They haven't been this excited since Elena Della Don.
We used to be so good when I was growing up. We were so good, and now we're not. DC basketball, man, super fun. I think both teams both teams combined, Wizards and Mystics, are they under 10 wins this season?
So far,
crazy. But yeah. Yeah, no, that's crazy. It could definitely happen where both are ending in sweeps. But it's what I was saying is it's the farthest the teams have to travel. They're going from Florida to Canada. It's the longest flights. They have to go through customs every time they travel. It's a lot. So I think that probably both teams will be happy when this is over. I don't think that the Oilers would mind a sweep with it. I mean, obviously no one wants to get swept, but they're not coming back. The Panthers are so much better. So
yeah, so I think that we'll get to it in a minute, but I think both of these need to at least go 5 games. So I think that both. I think Dallas finds a way, even though they're a broken team, it's got to at least go 5. But then again, Boston and Florida might just be that dominant that they ended in these next 2 days. So you never know. So to move right along. I'm gonna let you talk about this because to me, this is let me start. Darren Waller, for those of you that don't know, or as some of y'all calling him, Kelsey Plum's ex,
fumbled the bag big time on that one.
So he announced his retirement. Schefter kind of once again scooped the announcement of the announcement. But I'm more of a on this one. I think he was a great tight end. He didn't really do much for the Giants. But it's a big loss at tight end for you guys because you definitely put in 2 or 3 picks for him, in the trade from the Raiders. So I just think that this is kind of a loss for y'all. It kind of shows whoever your GM was at the time kind of dumb. But again, that's what the NFL stands for. Not for long. Took a big swing, didn't work out, and hopefully, I don't know who's your starting tight end now.
I was literally about to pull it up. I have no idea.
Okay, well, while you do that, yeah. So this is unfortunate. Darren Waller had a good career, more as a Raider than a Giant, but good for him. Announced his retirement. To follow, for those of you that don't know, he apparently has a rap video now. So,
it's Daniel Bellinger. He's good. He's good, actually. I forgot about him.
Okay. So yeah. So RC has some comments for you before you get there. She's And he said this. I thought we didn't discuss this. The people not know these are from the DC area, so you're a Wizards fan.
Yeah, so I'm a Giants fan, but I'm a DC fan for everything else. So I'm a Wizards fan, a Capitals fan, and a Nationals fan. But
right.
yeah.
So you got anything?
Wizards fan is very relative. I say we stopped going to games when I've said this before, right? Why we stopped going to Wizards games? When Gilbert Arenas brought the gun into the locker room. It's like when we stopped going to games when I was younger.
Yeah. You did it off air. I don't think you put it out there on there.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish we kind of knew it was happening. I wish he'd done it earlier, so maybe we could have. I don't know. I mean, the fact that we had Bellinger, he's great. Like, I'm actually not that worried. He was done more. Waller did nothing last year. He actually lost us a game when he dropped the easiest catch in the world in the end zone.
I know that was the
on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, I
gave the Eagles a big Christmas present.
It's like good riddance, whatever. He's a mess. Yeah. I just wish he'd done it sooner before, do it before mini camps or something. I don't know. He sucks. Yeah. Moving on. Good riddance, in my opinion.
All right. So you want to take this one?
Yeah. So Atlanta Falcons have been punished for tampering with Kirk Cousins and others. Those you remember, it's all kind of came out during Kirk Cousins' first press conference when he talked about talking to the trainers and some of the people before the tampering window had opened. And then he kind of tried to walk it back, and they pretty much were like, no, you tampered. And this kind of leads into the next question that we have is like, is this going to stop other teams? Like, no, teams are still going to do this. They're just going to be not as dumb. They're going to tell their players to be not as dumb in press conferences. Kirk, I just think because he's such a likable guy, I think he just sometimes didn't think. He was just like, I was just talking to people. And then he was like, no, I did it on our way down. When we were driving in the car, I called them. And they're like, no, it's not what you said. I mean, yeah, they're going to get punished and it's going to be whatever. And teams are still going to do it. And I don't really know what kind of punishment that could prevent them from doing this. Like, fines don't really do much. I mean, I don't know. Could you think of a punishment that would actually stop people from doing this?
Yes, you lose your first round pick. Yeah. Like, the Falcons, obviously, they got fined as a team $200,000. They lost a fifth round pick. It's the Falcons, like the fifth round pick would probably get to play more than they would in any other team with the Falcons. But, as we all know, NFL teams don't really value fifth, sixth, and seventh round picks. What they do value is the first 4 round picks. So I think that your highest draft pick should be forfeited if you tamper. And I say this, let me just say, shout out to my Eagles, James Franklin, love him, but he was a stitch, and it all turned out for nothing, as we found out. I know Morgan just rolled her eyes because she wanted the Eagles to lose their a couple picks for taking Saquon from her, but. I like I said, the Eagles move in silence, baby. Like, and James Franklin needs to stay away. Whenever the Eagles get a Penn State player, just say I'm happy that he's there and leave it at that, James. We do not need you snitching again. Like, we don't need any more investigations. I'm fully in the fan side of mine. But as far as this, like, it's unfortunate for the Falcons. And the NFL this is just what happens when you let teams legally tamper, and when the legally tampering period is so it's so out there. Like, the NBA is going to have this too. Now that, you can basically, as soon as the finals are over, you can start talking to free agents. Like, you're going to see this in the NBA too, that, teams are obviously, these guys are talking to each other already. They're recruiting. The Olympics is a big recruiting tool. Joel Embiid, hint. There's a whole thing like about that. So, I just think that the punishment I can think of is they lose their top first round pick or second round pick, something that would actually hurt them. But other than that, I just can't see, like you said, it's just a $200,000 fine. These teams make that off parking, so that's nothing to them. So, like, I just think there needs to be more. But Yeah, I don't think this will stop the Falcons. They're trying to contend in the wide open NFC South. So, and that's they chose Kirk Cousins, got what's his name from Washington too, like really pissed Kirk Cousins off. So it's a whole like the Falcons stay winning but losing. Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you Atlanta fans. Y'all stay losing and winning at the same time because like obviously you gave up that big comeback and the Falcons just cannot get out of their own way. But we'll see what happens with the Kirk Cousins experiment. I don't really see them like maybe they've got a coach now, so maybe they'll do something. We'll see. The DirecTV NFL ticket class action lawsuit allowed to move forward. So those that don't know, y'all know we love to get in our legal talk here. So the DirecTV and the NFL are being sued, I think, in a class action lawsuit by fans who are basically saying that the price is too high, it's too arbitrary, and a court agrees, and now it's going forward. As Mike Florio says, the NFL wants to settle this out of court or in arbitration somewhere where their dirty laundry will not be aired. So I'm really interested to see what happens. Like, is the NFL dictating to DirecTV what the price should be for NFL Sunday Ticket? Again, I don't know if any of y'all Sunday Ticket users. I don't have DirecTV. We're a Verizon family over here. So I don't have DirecTV, so I don't know what exactly Sunday Ticket is or does. I mean, I know what it is, but like
I haven't watched a football game at my house in 3 years. So
yeah, so I don't know. So maybe you Sunday Ticket users can hit us up or in our comment section and tell us like what the big deal about Sunday Ticket is. I know about Red Zone. I know that Sunday Ticket lets you watch all those NFL games, but I just there's only so much one person and a bunch of family can do. Like y'all only have so many eyes. So, but I'm happy for that. Like I'm pro people getting their money. So, if the NFL and DirecTV are cheating DirecTV customers, no matter how much I think DirecTV sucks, I don't think anybody deserves to get their money stolen because they want NFL Sunday Ticket. So if that's the case, then the NFL and the DirecTV needs to pony up and give Morgan and people with DirecTV their money. Morgan's family and people with DirecTV their money. So
completely agree.
If that's what's happening, give them their money.
Completely agree.
All right. So RC mentioned this already. The Boston Celtics outlast the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic, for the first time in his career, fouled out. I feel like I was pretty prescient last week when I said that, Kristaps Porzingis returning really takes them over the top. Dallas really has no one who can compete with Porzingis. And this was a winnable game 2 days ago. Porzingis didn't even play. At this point, they don't even need him. He might not play tonight. And they might win. So, this was a winnable game. I think at this point, we got to just call it the curse of Kyrie, man. Like, any team that Kyrie is on when they're facing the Celtics is just destined to lose. Like, I just don't know. The Celtics are a juggernaut right now, and they didn't have Porzingis. Like, and for most of that game, Dallas dominated. But that's just what happens when Jason Tatum and Brown. Well, really, it was more Jaylen Brown than Jason Tatum. Decided to pony up, and I just don't know what Dallas can do. I mean, that's my takeaway. Like, other than getting Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving to both, so somebody dropped 60 and the other one to drop 30. I don't know what they can do to beat the Celtics, and that's a shame going into this game tonight. I really don't know what Dallas can do to stop the Celtics. And they didn't have Porzingis 2 nights ago. And they might have him tonight. I doubt. Here's the thing. Like, for Celtics fans, I don't know. We know it's a high ankle sprain. I don't think he's playing tonight, but we'll see. It's all about pain tolerance with ankle sprains. But what's your reaction to what happened game 3? I mean, you're the one that called it. I said Celtics in 6. You said Celtics in 4 or 5. So you look pretty pressured tonight.
I don't think they're unbeatable right now. They're so good. They beat them on every aspect. The only player that they have that might be better is Luka, and he's hurt and looks like a crippled version of himself out there. He's trying to do everything, and then he's fouling out because he's trying to do everything. I think it's over tonight.
All right. Morgan's calling it. It's over. So my game 4 preview here tonight is this, man. Luka and Kyrie, you either need to man up or leave. Like, at this point, pony up or leave. This is do or die. You're down 3-0. The Celtics are confident. Even if they lose tonight, they get to go back and win. This is probably what they prefer anyway, to go win in Boston and win their first title in 16 years. Like, you know how crazy that is, that was 16 years ago with Kevin Garnett going, anything is possible! Like, well, that was their last championship. Do y'all realize that? Like, it literally has been a long time since we've seen the Celtics win a championship. Their 18th banner. They've been waiting 15 going on 16 years for this 18th banner. And you know, I just think that, you know, Luka Doncic, like, the biggest X factor here is somebody other than Luka gotta score, gotta give them something. Kyrie is clearly seeing ghosts. I don't know what's going on. His shot isn't falling. He is old. He's in his 30s. But I don't think that's it. I think
that he's one of those players that does get into his head a little bit, and I think that he can spiral really quickly. I used to, for whatever reason, think that he could block that stuff out, but I think as he's gotten older, he not worries that other people think, but I think he really gets in his head, and it kind of becomes a mental game for him, and he's at some kind of mental block right now. Yeah, I agree with you, RC. I said it was going to be done in 4. I said they weren't going to win a game. You were like, no, they're going to win a game. They're going to win a game. Like,
well, I was sure that, like, at least one of these games, just like what happened against OKC and Minnesota, that, like, one of those games, Luka and Kyrie would turn back the clock and both drop at least 60, and that would be enough, like, combined to beat Boston, because I was thinking that, you know, the Celtics can't continue to shoot 72.4% or whatever it's been from the 3-point line. So, like, you know, I didn't think that they would continue to do that. But I mean, I guess seeing Kyrie Irving on the other side has pissed Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown off that much that the team is just, you know, there's just certain things where, like, teams just too red. And so to me, like, an X factor tonight, again, Jrue Holiday and Derek White. Like, you know, I said this before last week, that, like, Jrue Holiday and Derek White, one or both of them had to do the job. Now, Jrue Holiday's job is a little bit easier, like Morgan said, with Luka Doncic yelling at refs and fouling out just because, like, he just can't help himself because he's emotional. He's an emotional European. And I'm really surprised that he doesn't get thrown out of games more often with the way he be cursing out the refs. Like, I'd be sitting there looking at that and being like, now we killed Draymond Green for doing half of what Luka does. Like, Luka gets fouled. It's a home game. This man yelling at the refs halfway down the court. Like, and again, like, this is a Dallas team, so I am happy. Like I told Morgan, like, this is the worst thing for me, because either a Dallas team is going to win or a Boston team is going to win. I guess I prefer the Boston team to win than Dallas team to win. So, you know, I am just so over this. Like, yeah, like, RC is right. Like, they put up more of a fight against, like, you know, OKC, and maybe that's why, you know, they went 6 games against Minnesota. Maybe Minnesota wore them out. He said even the dog hates the Mavericks. Like, you know, I just can't. You know, the biggest X factor here is, again, Jrue Holiday and Derek White. Like, even though like Luka is injured, so people aren't really looking at what Jrue Holiday is doing to Luka. Like, you know, he's put Luka in jail, and Derek White, shouts out to him, going to get a big extension, like, when they eventually win this series, for the job he is doing on Kyrie Irving. Like, I did not think that anybody could, like, rattle Kyrie Irving as much as Derek White is just by standing there and breathing on him. So, you know, those are the X factors, right? Which backcourt is going to step up? Will the Dallas bench do something? Will Derek Lively, you know? And again, old Horford is trying to get his first championship. And he's really doing the job on Derek Lively. Like, Derek Lively is frustrated too. Like, I'm just saying, like, this might be the first time where a former Wizard is on a team and they don't win a championship. Like, obviously, Kristaps Porzingis is a former Wizard, but I think, like, recent on the roster before he got traded, I think that was the streak. Seems like it's going to end because Daniel Gafford isn't going to win a championship. Yeah, so, like, you know, I just think that, you know, that's the X factors tonight for me. Jrue Holiday, Derek White on the Celtics side, can they continue to put Luka and Kyrie in jail? And can anybody on that bench, will the real Dallas Mavericks bench please stand up? Like, because Boston is not that overwhelming defensively that y'all are out here just, you know, laying eggs at home against them. So I don't really know. So Morgan kind of already answered this question. Will the Mavericks avoid the sweep? I'm going to be optimistic and say they will avoid the sweep tonight because I just think that the Celtics are due for a game where they shoot 40 and 30% from the 3-point line, then 70+%. I know Morgan says, look, Colin, but look, man, like I got to be objective here. I think that the Celtics are due to shoot 30% and like lose at least one game. And I think it's going to be better for them to win in Boston. I say that as a Boston hater too. Like I think it's going to be better for them to win in Boston than win in Dallas. But I know, Morgan, you disagree with me, so you think they're ending
they're sweeping. It's done.
All right.
Next.
Morgan thinks that Friday that we're going to see back-to-back sweeps.
I do.
So we'll see. So which team or teams will be the most active during the NBA offseason? You want to start?
I don't really know if I can answer this before the draft, if that makes sense. I feel like I need to see who people draft, and then they have to fill in some players from there. I don't know all the ins and outs of everyone's contracts and who are free agents and stuff like that. You definitely know that better than I do.
You got to see who she. So basically, what she's saying, for those of you that don't know, she's a big step. Obviously, we said UConn fan, so she's looking to see who drafts Castle and Klingon to see who she's going to start rooting for. So,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's why she doesn't have.
Why I like the Pelicans last year, you know.
So yeah, so that's what this is. But to me, it's the teams with the most money right now. The Sixers and the Thunder. They're going to be the most active. Thunder, it seems like, are going to rob the Knicks of their big guy, which I'm all for. I'm tired of what's his name. Of Isaiah Hartenstein. So I am of the mindset that, you know, I think that between the Sixers and the Thunder, it's an arms race right now. The Sixers have to figure out how they're going to compete with a Boston team that just won a championship, more than likely, in these next few days. So I think that, you know, I'm of the mindset that both of those teams need wing defender. The Thunder, obviously the Sixers don't have this problem. The Thunder need to get bigger, so they'll definitely be in the center market, robbing one of y'all centers. They'll be in that backup center market. They need to get bigger. That was their problem against Dallas. So yeah, I think the Sixers and the Thunder will be the two biggest spenders. I think the Warriors will. Obviously, they're more than likely going to lose Klay Thompson. So I think the Warriors are a dark horse. I think a lot of y'all are proclaiming the Warriors are dead way before they are. I think they're going to show y'all this offseason that they're not dead, and their window is, as long as Steph Curry's on the roster. I think Draymond. I think that a dark horse to me is that I think Draymond gets – here's a hot take at 12/16, June 14th. No sources on this. I think Draymond gets traded this summer. I think Draymond gets traded this summer. I think Klay Thompson's done as a Warrior. I don't think they want him anymore. And that's a shame to see the Splash Brothers broken up. I think come the offseason, you guys are going to see that it's going to be a team completely built around Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Steph Curry will be the last person standing. Draymond Green is done. There's already rumors that Kevin Looney's getting released to save money because the Warriors have a lot of money on the table. And I think there's going to be a lot of trades. You're going to see a lot of people doing more trades. It's going to be more trade heavy than free agents signing heavy. So that's my thing. So, all right. So shout out segment. You got any shout outs this week, Morgan?
I do. And you and I both are not going to like it, but I have to say shout out to Boston. They were able to fill 2 stadiums. And there was not a game happening in either stadium on, was it Wednesday?
Okay.
For Brady's retirement and for the viewing of the Celtics game. I got to give him credit because that's impressive to fill 2 major stadiums with not a game happening in either one of them at the same time in the same city. So shout out to them. They're diehard fans. And it's kind of why I hope the Celtics win. But that's my big shout out.
All right, so my shout out, I got a couple of them. Shout out to my Syracuse University women's rowing team, the advanced team. Again, Morgan and I have talked way more about rowing than I think I ever thought I'd talk about. I had no idea that there was an advanced team in rowing, but shout out to them. They were 8th place in the championship round for the advanced team. So shout out to the Syracuse University women's rowing team and to all those rowers from that team that are going to be in the Olympics rowing. I'm assuming in the Seine. So shout out to them. Shout out there. What else? Again, shout out to all the fathers here.
Yes.
2 of them represented here. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. So shout out to y'all. You do a great job. I know Father's Day isn't as big as Mother's Day for some obvious reasons, but shout out to my father, Mr. Horace Watson. Great dad, great person. Raised 2 great sons. Shout out to him. Also, shout out to my parents. On Monday, they will celebrate 40 years of wedded bliss. So shout out to them. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Watson. 40 years of wedded bliss. I'm trying to think. Oh, shout out to my Philadelphia Phillies. Despite the fact that JT Realmuto, again, this is way more baseball than I think more than I will ever talk ever. But JT Realmuto got injured. Something wrong with his knee. I'm blaming Britain. And shout out to the Phillies for doing the job, beating Boston. Now going to Baltimore, still having the best record despite going from Britain to Boston to Baltimore this weekend. Like, shout out to my Philadelphia Phillies. Trying to think what else is going on here. So shout out to all the things going on. It's about to be summer. All y'all stay cool this upcoming week. I know in Philly, it's about to be a whole week of 90s. I love it as a July baby. But for those of you that are keeping cool, this is a shout out and more of a PSA. Please stay cool this upcoming week. If you live in the Northeast, the Philly, DC, New York, Connecticut, New England area, like, stay cool. I know that y'all, Morgan, I don't know what y'all looking at. Y'all probably looking at low 90s. Here we're looking at like 93 to 96.
I know, I'm starting to get a little nervous. I'm hoping that it cools off a tiny bit before the wedding. Doesn't need to cool off a ton, but
Yeah, so shout out to that, and shout out to, again, like, we're in final 3 weeks of single life for Morgan. So shout out to her.
2 weeks tomorrow, 14 days tomorrow.
Getting ready to get married. So yeah, we'll definitely still have a show before y'all don't see her for a couple of weeks as she's celebrating the honeymoon. So we will get to that, but let's go to our next segment. Everybody's favorite segment. Shout out to RC. Thank you, man. And fans like you and people who continue to watch the show make this great. Thank you and Timothy for keeping it live in the comments section. So he's not him, she's not her, and they aren't them. You want to go first?
I don't really have any. I've been scratching my brain. I feel like my always there them is the people that the Caitlin Clark fans that are putting too much pressure on her. I feel like I always have that, but you go first. Let me think. I've been thinking the whole show and I just can't think of one. You go first.
All right. So my he's not him. Really it should be a day aren't them, but my he's not him. I'm just gonna combine them. Just gonna combine. Well, my they aren't them, really. I'm gonna combine it. My they aren't them. My fellow media members, man. Like, this Caitlin Clark discourse, I think, really showed this weekend with them not making it. Some of my journalism heroes, Christine Brendan and a bunch of others, who made it, I think, made Caitlin Clark's snub. And again, Morgan and I, as both young sports journalists, don't agree with our more older veteran journalists about this. But I know that I think this is a part where you make yourself the story. And some of our fellow media members made themselves the story this week when they showed, for a lot of people, the bias that media members have, especially when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Like Angel Reese and a lot of others have been pointing out that some of the media members and just people in general are more Caitlin Clark fans than they are basketball fans. And I think that, this kind of showed itself this weekend with the whole snub or reported snub thing this weekend. So I think we got to be better, man. I know that she's a hot button topic. We've spent 3 segments talking about her. But y'all got to be better. Like I said last week, as media, media as a whole, men and women, are not prepared for the WNBA to be as high profile as it is. And it only I was real pressured because we had the show last Friday, and then the next day they showed me right when they can't cover this objectively. Like I said, obviously, Caitlin Clark is the intersection of race and a bunch of other things that we talked about last week that don't need to be rehashed in this segment. But like, I just think that people got to be careful. People got to be objective. Like Caitlin Clark, like I said, I'm a fan of her. She is a foundational Mount Rushmore WNBA player. But we don't need to make every little thing that happens to her not being in the Olympics, her possibly, I think she will make the All-Star team, but her being a reserve and not a starter. Y'all did not need to make the marketability argument for a class that is marketable all up and down the board. Like, I'm spending, like, we could be talking about, like I said, Jackie Young and Aja Wilson being the first two teammates to both score 30-plus points in a game. That could be a story. I'm talking about it. We're talking about it. And we don't even live in Las Vegas. Both of us don't. So, like, y'all could be talking about that. Y'all could be talking about the fact that Angel Reese is the first rookie ever to have 100 points and 100 rebounds in the fastest amount of time. That's a story right there. But instead, we're talking about Caitlin Clark, her fans, and the media, and beyond that. And so that's why they aren't them. Media got to do better. I'm not saying you need a class. I don't know what you need. Maybe you need an ethics class. Maybe you need something. But, like, again, media as a whole is not – sports media as a whole is not prepared to cover this correctly.
Yeah,
like,
I said I agree. Yep.
Yeah. And so my he's not him, and I hate doing this always when I have to say this. Morgan knows I ache about this, but Stephen A. Smith, man.
That's
Stephen
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row.
Like, I hate to do this to you, Stephen A., because I love and I'm a fan of you. But telling Andrea Carter that she got to do marketability when she is one of the top, like, and Morgan knows Morgan knows I don't give praise likely to my fellow media members, but she's really good. She is a triple threat. She can host, she can analyze, she can do on-air stuff. She is a former college basketball player, I believe, with Alabama or Tennessee. Somebody, RC or Morgan, will correct me on whichever team she played on, if I'm wrong there. But I believe she played college basketball as well. But you're lecturing, after coming off the heels of lecturing Monica McNutt last week, you're lecturing Andrea Carter, and I have to sit here and be like, dog, you got to do better. Again, my point. I said this on Friday afternoon. And Morgan and I didn't even realize how prescient we were about saying, like, and both agreeing that as young media members, like, the old guard is not ready to cover the WNBA as it grows as a major topic. And they're proving us right. Like, they're lecturing people who do the job and telling them they got to be more marketable, got to have more hot takes. I know that I've been told that, like, I got to have more hot takes. I'm sure, Morgan, you've been told the same thing, like, more hot takes, marketability. Nobody wants to see real journalism. Nobody wants to see two people talk for an hour plus about real sports. They want us to have hot takes. Like, I have a hot take, and I just gave you one. But, like, I'll give you that analysis, too. Like, and I think that that's the point. Like, as young people, as people growing in this industry, we're saying we get the hot takes, but save that for sports radio. Like, people want real sports analyzing, not hot takes. So, like, I just think, Stephen A., you got to be better there. And then my last one, Joe Mazzulla, my man. My man. Like, again, I said Caitlin Clark was not the only basketball person who failed. And Morgan knows I don't send this out lightly. Joe Mazzulla, you're young, you're in your 30s, you're a little bit older than Morgan, and, like, you're right up in that 30s range. You're a young coach. This is the first time, I believe, since the 1960s and 70s that two black coaches. Yes, I'm dropping some facts for y'all because I don't think a lot of y'all know that Jason Kidd is biracial because he doesn't look it. But yes, he's black. So these are the first time that two coaches. I know I just blew some of y'all's minds because I even forgot too. I look at him and I'm like, that's a white man, but no, that's a biracial man. So his father is black, so he's black. So yes, this is the first time that two black coaches are going against each other in the NBA Finals since, I believe, the 1960s, when it was Bill Russell and somebody else. So Joe Mazzulla, Vincent Goodwill, somebody who I know Morgan knows very well. Ask him a question about, like, what he thought about that, right? And this man said this. I am a Christian, so this is more about God than coaching and stuff like that. That's not the exact quote, but y'all can look it up. That's what he said. And as a fellow Christian, I just want you to say, I need to say this because Morgan knows I say this about. I've said this the last few times. Like, hire one of us to be your PR because it's so easy to say this. I'm gonna help you out, Joe. The next time you get this question, if you win tonight, let me say it like this. I thank God for the opportunity to be able, along with Jason Kidd, to show black coaching excellence on an international, because the NBA is an international organization, an international sport, on an international stage. Like, how hard is that? Like, that was so easy, and that's straight off the dome. For you to say, I'm a Christian, so I thank God, and it's more about basketball. I think people see my basketball acumen than they see that, and I want them to see that. Bro, this is America. People see your color first before they see anything else. They don't see Christian. They see black man coaching Boston. That's what they see. A city with a lot of racial problems. Like, they see that. That is what they see. They do not see, hey, he's a Christian man. What a great Christian coach. They don't see that, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Again, stop Kim Mulkeying stuff, bro. Like, just say that. Yes, Kim Mulkey always catches strays. just say that, bro. How hard is it to just say, I thank God for the opportunity, along with Jason Kidd, to show off black coaching excellence on an international stage? And end quote right there. Like, come on. So my he's not him. Joe Mazzulla, do better. Better quotes, brother. Like, don't fail on a big stage like that again. I'm trying to help you out.
All right, so we gotta do this fast because I have to go. I have to take the dog to the vet. My they aren't them is the Lakers. You thought you could take our coach, couldn't. Sucks to be you. No one wants to coach for you guys. And that is it. That is our show. Again, I have to run. I have to take the dog to the vet to get his shots. He's staring at me. You know, some things happening. But we'll be back next week for sure. Can't guarantee the week after that as it is wedding week, but for sure we'll be back next week, probably around the same time. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
I see y'all.